Pedro, thank you for being with us. You were here with your last film, Horse Money, and that is when we encountered Vitalina, and someone asked you a question and said, what is your next project? And you said that you would probably work with Vitalina, and this is the result of that collaboration. Can you tell us about your first encounter with her and how you knew you wanted to make a film with her and about her life?
Well, the films are all connected, so if you've seen one, that's my problem when I want to get money from places in Europe. They always say, well, it's going to be the same thing, so it's the same thing. So they are always connected. And now it's even more than connected. It's going to be, well, I have no idea what the next one will be, but it will be someone or something, but for the moment I have no ideas and no reason to move, so I'll stay there. And when I met this woman in the last film 3-4 years ago, I met her. I'm very I believe in the supernatural, like Michael Jackson. So I believe in these things to make something very concrete. I hope you have to have a sort of and I was looking for a house to shoot the other film. And I had this friend in this neighborhood and said, maybe I know the house you need and let's go see it. It's an abandoned, empty house. It belonged to a strange guy. He died. The house is empty. And he was telling me this and approaching the house. And as we approached the house, the door opened, and it's the same door you see in this film, a blue door. And Vitalina opened the door, like she does in this film. And then I asked her to be in the other film and then to be to say some lines and then to be a character, like you say in the film language. And she was a character, and she is, and she had a lot more things to say. And I wanted to hear these things, and as always, I don't have many ideas to make films, so I depend a lot on these people and encounters and time spent, and I spend a lot of time not shooting, but preparing shooting, rehearsing. This is 3 years, 4 years, so shooting is only a part of it. But listening and being with someone it's the most important. And just being with her, I thought perhaps there was something that she could do, and a moment of her life that she would like to. It happened to me a lot, this kind of thing that someone wants to say something, so it's like when you say the film is not a message, I'm always saying it is a message. It's nothing but message. It's nothing but a sort of telegram from her to you.
But there's obviously so much trust and intimacy there.
Yes, yeah, of course, it has to be. It has to be because of. It's a bit dirty to say it like this, but because of the money. Because trust is money nowadays. Yeah. So I don't have money, and she doesn't have that much money. I have a little bit more. So we get to a point where she can. At the moment when I met her, she was trying to get a job in Zara. You know Zara, cleaning Zara. €5 an hour. I proposed 7 for the film. So, and then we managed to go to 10 or something. Well, and
So she doesn't have papers and she's illegal. And
she doesn't. In the middle of the shooting, we got the papers.
great.
But that's a work we do. Work. I mean, it's an occupation we have. When I say we, I have to say that we are 4, as is 4 in the shooting, more or less always. Camera, sound, production. That's the. But we also do, most of the time we do this kind of things that you're saying. Papers, hospitals, things like that. And it nourishes the film, all the films. It's a big part of the films. I depend on that too. I always say if it's just a film, it's because I have no ideas, no imagination, and sometimes we go, things happen, and doing another kind of more cinema can be just a very closed, stupid thing, experimental thing, and I don't like that. I'm not. So I have to keep in touch with a lot of things, a lot of concrete things to go a little bit beyond the concrete.
But your life and your work becomes completely entangled.
Yeah.
And that is how the intimacy and the mutual respect and the trust.
Even too much.
Yeah.
That's how it is now. Yeah. Now I'm here, but we're rebuilding the house. The cameraman is on the roof rebuilding the house because it's obvious that it's not the work is not done or the film is not complete, but because she needs a roof. And and then there will be something else. She will go back to her home or not, and I don't know. Yeah, it's very.
So can I ask about the writing process then? Is that a process of you spending time with her and listening to her wanting to tell stories?
Yeah, it's difficult because in this situation we cannot talk seriously about that. But it's there's no writing at all, nothing. I have no notes, no. That's one of the reasons I cannot have money, because I really cannot write something that is not true. I mean, for the money, for
script,
I don't know, for a TV channel or a public funding, I cannot. I can't. So I have to. But I have to solve this problem, or they have to solve this problem. One of us. So there is no writing. There is more and more something I force, or I'm trying to, which is memorize something that is too forgotten or too difficult to bring out. Trying to memorize, trying to put words on those feelings. But that's not new. That's, I think, I don't know, this might seem for you very strange, but I don't know if you know someone called Lubitsch. I think Lubitsch worked this way. I think in a nicer, gayer way. It's trying to bring out something very intimate, but it has to stay intimate, you know. It's like if you don't want it to become public, that's the work, to become too public, too... So my idea is you should not write it, you should not fix it, you should not fix it in the sense, put it on paper, on stone immediately. It should be lighter and it should evolve. And we do, I don't know, for this film we can do, we never do less than 30, 40 takes. Wow. No, but it has, not how, Andrea, no. It's a work that nobody does anymore, and you have to do it, especially with these people or with me, because we have to find...
Physical work, too.
We have to find it. And they are not born in this cinema world. I am trying to search, and so it's a very long process. So it's a long take, it's a lot of takes, and the first and the last are two worlds apart. For the text, for the action, for the everything. So it's very, in a way, it's very collaborative. Even if the film's probably looks and very me, myself, the author, etc. It's not. I'm trying to pass this idea that a lot of what's here is Vitalina commands the game a little bit. The way she goes from the 10th to the 20th take, I move the camera because she makes something, you know. I move. I can move 1 millimeter or something, or the light, or the sound, or so.
She said it was a lot of work.
She said, "Yeah, it's a lot of work." Yeah,
and in a really grateful way, you know. And
I like to work.
I know you like work.
We like to work. That's the problem with cinema. No, I like some people that work, but it's not enough work. I mean, to be, you know, you have to. But in my case, you have to, because these people don't know what's, you know, what it's too... We start, I mean, the first second is, would you want to make a film? The second is, what about the death of your husband? I mean, you know. And then let's work around that. So it's a little bit of psychoanalysis, it's a bit of economics, all sociology, anthropology, cinema. It's a lot of things mixed. And trying to get the papers, because she's always afraid, so that's not good for the work, and so, you know, it's a lot of things. It's not only a contract and a job for 6 or 7 weeks.
No, that's very clear. It goes beyond. Yeah.
And that's what saves me a little bit, because I would not know how to make a film in 5 weeks. It seems to me amazing, a miracle how some of my colleagues can do it. Because I cannot see how you can find how you can be with a woman for 5 weeks. No?
No, but you're also making a very
You
specific
will
kind of
never
cinema that's
discover
very
anything. No,
political and done over long periods of time and as things change. And I guess that's something I would like to ask you is if you feel like Lisbon and the policies of the country are changing and
no, no.
you don't think anything has changed since you've started making this cycle of work.
No, I told you, for me, I can only apply to very. I'm not saying the films are not appreciated or they don't work. They are not commercially successful. I mean, as you expect. But that's not a problem. I mean, I have friends here, there, everywhere, but getting the money to do them, it's always been a problem because of this writing thing, and public funding is very based on what do you want to do, so show me something, and I cannot show them anything until it's finished, or in the middle. I have to say that in the public funding system in Europe, at least, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. It's getting more conventional. It's getting more conventional. I mean, it's not something called. I'm not for documentaries. I mean, the definition of documentary is very, in a sense, it's poor. You know, you should go a little bit further than the documentary, I think.
I think we've all put that in question.
But the documentary, you don't have money for that anymore. You know, it's an action that is not. They don't help this action. You know this. So I belong a little bit to this tradition. I think. More and more, I feel that I belong to. I'm not into experimental things, or I'm into something more documentary. It needs time. Needs time to meet people, to study. You know, to study like, and that I need money to pay people, not more. I don't have sets. I don't have anything very complex, but I need money to pay people. I mean, to be with me. Minimum wage, you know, that's what we get for 2 years or something. But there is no help for this kind of work, you know. There is help for cinema, for films, for Festival de Cannes and things like that, but not to work. And they don't know what it is, the work. They don't know. They know what.
But so let me put it in a different way. When the films are shown in Portugal, do they elicit a debate about the politics of the country?
No.
I think there are some Portuguese critics in the house. I saw them, but that's to be
No, it's a
discussed.
very reactionary country. It always has been. It's dead. It's dead, completely dead. The films are dead. They are films. They are not what it should be, but it's not in my country. It's everywhere. I think, but it's enough. I think if there's 5 or 6 people around the world working this kind of things, it's enough. It's enough. What can I say? I would like to get some money from other places, and I cannot because of politics. Yeah. Because this world that includes film festivals too.
Sure.
And sales agents and things
political,
like that
yeah.
is what it is. I mean, I have friends who, if they like the film and they want to show the film in their countries, I'm more than happy. But they, you know, it's not a global sailing enterprise, you know, cannot be. I mean, it's impossible. So it's always the politics that kills a little bit.
The
I
reach,
don't know.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to monopolize you. Surely there are questions for Pedro. Sorry, it's hard to see. Yep.
You talked about working with Ventura over the last 7 years or so. How has that developed? How has that changed?
He's older. I'm older. He's more silent. I'm more silent. Not. I can tell you that, for instance, in this film, that's why I always say that he's kind of an old. He's an actor in this. He gets there faster. I mean, to some things, that are pure things that have to do with the work of memorizing, saying a gesture, a look, a way of how to walk from here to there is faster and quicker and smarter and than most people. So he's more talented or more, and he has this presence and he has this photogenics, or I don't know. So he's a kind of classic actor for me. I mean, he's an actor. I need to. I'm not saying I need to work less with him than with Vitalin or the others, but I can talk with him, not talk in technical with technical words or terms, but say, let's do it faster, or let's do it faster. And he knows what it means. Vitalina, it's something else. It's something else. It has to do with the contents, you know. To work with some people like this, you have to go all the time. You have to go to the contents, to what does that mean? What are you saying? What are you telling people? With Ventura, no, it's a way of walk, a way of putting the hand, or lying on the bed, or things like that. And he has become a professional. Professional. He's the star in our company. Always has been, but now is. But he has a lot of problems of health and a lot. So this film took a long time because of his problems of health. He had 2 strokes during these last 3 years, 2 hearts. So he was in hospital. One of them was quite serious. But it's very, very interesting, and more than that, to work with him. It's and in this film especially because it's the first time something like this crazy happened. To the model for what he does exists. It was a priest that both Vitalin and him. It's a real person. This priest exists in Cape Verde, in their home. It was a young priest that had a problem with some people in the village. People died. He felt guilty. he became a bit deranged. He was sent by the Bishop of Cabo Verde to Lisbon, a bit to be put away, to be, and he became a sort of crazy barefoot priest in the first days of the shanty town in Lisbon, in Fontainhas. I've never met him. But I've heard the story of this priest. He didn't have his orders. He was removed of his orders, but he was a priest for himself always until his. I think he's still living, but nobody knows where. He must be now almost the same age as Ventura. So we knew the story. He told me the story. Vitalina told me the same story, and we thought, why not? Let's do this. And I thought maybe Ventura can do this, because until now our work is based on their memories. I mean, their real experiences. This is real, but now he's playing a character, and I think it's great what he does. I mean, it's really.
Are there more questions? I think I saw another hand somewhere. No? Well, then I have a question. So you say that nothing is written, you have no script, but the film is very precise and very composed.
I try not to write.
Okay. Can you talk about your relationship with your cinematographer who does fantastic work here?
It's work.
But working at night in low light and these compositions that are so magisterial, I mean, just
everything was like this before. I mean,
Yeah.
all the work was like this. Maybe it shows more now because it's this digital and the way colors evolve today.
feels
and
precise. Yeah.
But it's trying to find sometimes an idea of what was or what could be that place, or what was that place where they were when they were together in this community. There are still some traces, some walls, not enough, because we are shooting in leftovers, let's say. We're shooting in a neighborhood that has nothing to do with the old place, let's say. But there are 4 walls and a house and a roof. So we try to compose with that. But the work with the light is not less or more than the work with everything else. I mean, the sound is the same thing. I mean, I spend a long time with the sound director in this film to push him to do his own work alone, to go. I think that there's a work that is a little bit lost, where every member of a crew, if it's a small crew, could be, a team, but at the same time independent. And he could go meet people, and he could go record his sounds, and because we're not always shooting, so we have time to do that. And he did, and he went around, and also to organize his head, because they come from. They are not only doing this kind of films; they are doing other films and films that are faster and that don't have this kind of need. That's perhaps the word, need. Films don't need nothing today. They just need to be. They need to. And so when I say spend an afternoon with in that house, or go walk around with your thing, and which seemed strange for him at the beginning, became a big part of the work, and became essential for the film, because this film is very composed in sound too. There's a lot of ambience, and so sound, light, everything's the same.
And at what point did you know that you would end in lightness?
I'm not sure if it's lightness, but it's a little bit. It's difficult. It's those difficult moments where you are not very reassured. You know, especially the ending of a film is always very tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. The end of a film. I just remember, because I saw the film, Tarantino film. It's a tricky ending. Tricky in the sense that
there's been a lot of talk about that. Yeah.
There is. I don't know, but since it's a person that knows a little bit what he's doing, it's a tricky. So if you let go a little bit in the end, everybody does. Everybody does. You let go. In this one, this film belongs to Vitalina, so I was a little bit. I really wanted to be closer to her as much as I could. So, you know, if the film ended with another in another way, I don't know. But I'm not sure if it's that kind of light you're talking about, or.
I meant daylight, but being released
Well,
in some way.
daylight is not.
Light. There's a blue sky.
You mean the happy end?
I did not mean the happy ending. I actually meant the blue sky.
It's not blue, but.
Blue-ish.
I tried, but there was not a
move
blue
back.
sky that day. Yeah. It's for me. It was more inside, outside, these kind of things. The house, the roof. For me, it was. If I do not get it, keep it very simple and very, pragmatic, very concrete, I may get lost, and I hate that. And so the roof, the house, building, man, sound, the husband under the ground, things like that, sound, image. She gets up, opens the door, and there's something, and maybe this something is far away. Perhaps she opens. I liked the idea that opening a door in a film or a window, it's always far away. It's always something else. It's always montage. It's always. It's a montage. So why not? And, yeah.
Well, that's a lovely way to end, because we are out of time. But perhaps if there are more questions for Pedro, he'll be just on the side if you'd like to ask them in a more intimate fashion. Thank you so much for being here and for this beautiful film.